20 seconds.
Okay, so we're in for a treat today. So what is that treat, you ask? I get to share my thoughts on our thoughts and our thinking. So fasten your seatbelt. We're going to learn and grow together. Brian, when will we go on? How much time? Oh, I think I hear it. Here we go.
The Lillian McDermott
Time to dance, everybody.
We love bridges we burn, we make mistakes, then we live and learn. When life gets tough, and it seems like your best ain't good enough. If you're in need of hope, you know where I'll be. I'll be right here, right here. And when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here, waiting for you.
This is the place you can always turn to when you need a friend. The Lillian McDermott Show. To reach out to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Hello, my listening friend. It's so nice we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful, best day ever. And if you are new to the Lillian McDermott radio show, it's no accident, because today you're going to learn a little bit more about something I've been working on a little bit more lately. And this is no accident. You have stumbled upon this show. Make sure that you take lots of notes, because it is my commitment to provide alternative ways to heal. And it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening friend, will feel empowered to live the life of your dreams. And today, I'm going to ask you to step outside the box and learn a new truth. So what do you do? And by the way, if when you're driving today, or if you're listening at another time, you are welcome to call 407-373-5959. This is one of my favorite topics, and one of the topics that completely changed my life. So today, I want to kind of like put you in the mindset that I was yesterday. Fortunately, it was yesterday that I found this out, and I was able to decide what I wanted to talk about today. But what happens when your guest that is this morning texts you and says, I lost my voice, I am sick? Well, I had great positive thoughts. I really did. I wished her well. I wanted to make sure that I was told to go ahead and play a repeat. And I decided, no, I want the opportunity to share something that's really dear to my heart, something that we touch upon on the show. And I've been planting seeds for a long time. And it's been a while. I would say several years since I've talked about this particular topic specifically. And again, we discuss this a lot, but now we're going to go deeper. So I'm going to ask you to take out your soul shovels, and we're going to dig deep until there's nothing else but truth. So here's the thing. We talk about nutrition a lot. We talk about other things too, but nutrition is one that is very dear to my heart. And there's a philosophy and lots of evidence, medical evidence, that you are what you eat, right? So I ask you, what are you today? What are you yesterday? So think about that. But here's another thing that I want to add. As a certified life coach, this is one thing that I work on really closely with my clients, which is you are what you think. So again, we're going to focus on thought today. If you are what you think, what have you created? What can you think differently to create something different, something that you want even more than what you have today? Some of us are living our dream. Many of us are living our dream. a lot of us have decided to compromise to whatever we have because we're very comfortable. We don't want to step outside the box because of fear. We don't want to step outside the box because it's okay. It's a good living. It's good enough. But what if there's a secret desire deep within you, deep within a place where you have never tapped into, that has not been fulfilled? What if? So today's show is going to be about our thought process. What can we do to create something different? So a little bit about myself. I'm a certified life coach, but I didn't always, actually, I started, my first gig as a life coach started when I was 5 years old. I was my parents' marriage coach. Unbelievable, right? I was able to help my parents reconcile when they would have fights. And at the age of 5, that's a lot of responsibility on a kid, right? So this started my journey of being able to figure out things quickly because I didn't like how it felt when my parents argued, or I didn't like how it felt when there was a discourse in the home. I didn't like how I felt because I later found out that I can feel what people are feeling. So when I started the show, it started off as, okay, let's have these conversations around the table so that you're not made to feel wrong or thought if you have a difference of opinion, I don't need to convince you that you're wrong and that I'm right. I just need to hear your thoughts. I want to hear what it is that is driving you. I want to hear what has given you the desires that you have. So that's how it all started. But somewhere along the way, it all changed. And I started working on my own personal growth. And that led me to becoming certified as a life coach. And today, I have so many people that come on the show to teach us. Today, hopefully, I'll be able to share some of the lessons I've learned about thinking, thought, and creating our life. When we return worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com, we'll be right here waiting for you. Okay, for those of you who are watching me on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you find yourself, I want to ask you, what are you creating? What is going on in your life? Oh, I can hear the commercials, Brian. I don't know if you can do anything about that. Whoa. Here we go. Going back on the air. Made some little bit of adjustments, and hopefully we'll be able to have a conversation off the air when we go on the next break. I can barely hear the music, though, but that's okay. Just keep me honest. Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where you can hear us worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. I am your host, Lillian McDermott, and today we're going to discuss the thoughts in our head. What are the thoughts in your head? Who is the voice in your head? And so what can you do about it? So today, that's what we're going to talk about on the Lillian McDermott Radio Show. So to just share a little bit about how my philosophy changed. You know, we know what we know. I was taught everything from wonderful parents, well-meaning. They knew they did the best that they could with what they had, just like I have. I've done the best that I could with what I had. And hopefully you have too. But when you know better, you do better. And so this is what my journey, this show, this radio show, I believe set me free from being a right fighter. Although sometimes you take a stand and you take a position, and it's not to change somebody else's perspective. It's because you may not want to compromise on what you have learned or what you know. And that's okay too. But how you do it is so important. So as I started growing up on the show, so I started the show in 2011, and in 2013, I was challenged, about a year or two into the show, I was challenged to go raw vegan. And I've said this story before. And I took the challenge for 1 month. I was told that that's all I needed to do, right? And when I started feeling so much better, I thought, wow, I didn't know food can make you feel this good. I knew food could make me feel bad because I had food allergies and I eliminated those foods, but I could feel better? What? And I chose to eat that way for about 3 years until it stopped supporting me and my needs and what I needed. But during that time, I thought, if this is out there, what else is out there? And people that I started inviting on the show started teaching me a new truth. One of the teachers that I absolutely attribute to much of my change is Dr. Bruce Lipton. Dr. Bruce Lipton. Also, when I went to go through my journey of personal growth, that started because I felt that there was something missing in my life. I didn't know, I couldn't put my finger on it. It was the only way I can explain it is that I had a little hole in my soul. I was successful at many of the things I did, but I did not feel complete. There was something, and I was really good at ignoring it, and I was really good at covering up for it. But there comes a time in your life where you can no longer ignore that feeling in your body, because it will make you sick. Eventually, it'll make you sick. And I had lots of conditions to prove that theory. However, with a quick invitation, I decided to step outside the box and start working on myself. If I'm going to ask you, my listening friend, my viewing friends now, to grow, I too needed to grow. And that I got to see different examples. It was experiential. So I got to see and I got to feel what it would be like to experience something different. So in part of this group that I went through, I got to see how thought affected the entire group. We were all lined up and we were all touching each other. There were about 13 of us at the time. And the first person on there, they muscle tested us for strength. So how strong you are. So they muscle tested. They asked us to say our name and they tested us for strength. When you say the truth, it strengthens every cell in your body. But when you lie, even if it's to yourself, even if it's a white lie, it weakens your body. So they put us all together in a line and we proved it to ourselves that this is what happens to ourselves. But then the first person was touching the shoulder of the person beside them and that person and so on. And we were linked by touching each other on the shoulder. So someone was touching us on the left, we were touching somebody on the right. So we were all linked together. So the first person was asked to think. All we were doing was supporting the first person. We were giving them support. So the first person was asked to think about the best time in their life, something that there was the greatest achievement. They ended up muscle testing all of us. And every single one of us, actually, it was the opposite. Our right hand was extended, our left hand was touching the other person. Okay, that's what it was. And so they tested all of us, and every single one of us was very, very strong. Then they asked that person to think about how pathetic, how miserable, how useless, and how stupid they are. Remember the person that made them feel the bully in the school. And then they muscle tested all of us. All we were doing was just standing there. Every single one of us was weakened by that person's thoughts. If you think that the thoughts in your head only affect you, think again. Then I had the privilege, and I say privilege with a capital P, of interviewing Dr. Bruce Lipton, because when I experienced this, I needed to learn more. What was going on? And Dr. Bruce Lipton and his teachings. He was a medical doctor, not a medical. He's got a doctorate, and he taught medical doctors. But in his experimentation in his lab, he got to see the importance that environment plays in our body. So it's too long to go into it, but you can read the book, The Biology of Belief, or listen to the show with Bruce Lipton at whenyouneedafriend.com. He's amazing, amazing. So what are the thoughts in your head? What are you thinking? That's the question. And that's where we stop there. We're focusing on what other people are thinking, what you think of me, what I think of you, but we don't share that little hole in my soul that I had. I don't share that because I am truly not embracing it. I'm not aware of it in a conscious sense. Maybe subconsciously, I am. I don't know. I don't know how that works. All I know is that Bruce Lipton explained this to me on the show, and you can listen to it again on whenyouneedafriend.com and just search for Bruce Lipton. He said, by the age of 7, you are in theta mode, which is a hypnotic state. In that hypnotic state, you're recording everything, and it's being placed in where? Your subconscious mind. Those later become your thoughts. That becomes your limiting belief. Those become how you talk to yourself. So everything that you saw, some people it's a little bit longer. For me, I think my recordings are probably 10, 11, 12. Someone does something to you. When I went back to learning about myself, 2 of the things that were impactful in my life was that when I was 7 years old, my 2nd grade teacher told me that I would never amount to much. There's a story behind it. I've shared it before. That's not the point. But I want to share that was something, maybe he didn't say it that way, but that's how I interpreted it in my 7-year-old mind. Then at the age of 10, I was told by my paternal grandmother that if I stopped learning the piano, she would stop loving me. I stopped playing the piano. So through all this time, I felt like a good-for-nothing, unlovable person. And although I would never verbalize that, that's what I recorded in my subconscious mind. And it didn't matter how successful I was. I would never amount to much. It didn't matter how much I was loved. I still felt unlovable. Whether it was my children or my husband or my friends, I still felt unlovable. Have you felt this way before, where you don't know where that feeling is coming from? And that's why I encourage you to take out your soul shovel and dig deep until you discover, what is that belief that has been holding me back? So here's what I've learned, not just from Bruce Lipton, but from a lot of other doctors that have come on the show, that we have about 70,000 thoughts a day. Can you imagine how active some people might have more than that. Some people might have less than that. It all depends on the activity of your brain. Of those 70,000 thoughts, 90% of them are reoccurring. 90%. And out of those 90%, 80%, or of the thoughts in your head, 80% are negative thoughts. So if we are the creators of our lives, which is what I learned time and time again, whether I was going through my self-help programs, any self-help book that I ever read, any moment that I was, responsibility, it's not my fault that this happened to me, but I learned that I am the creator of my life. I have created everything that has happened to me. How have I created it? It's not my fault. Again, it's not about fault. It's not about shame, blame, or duty. It's about creation. It's about the thoughts in your head. Your thoughts become feelings. Your feelings become actions. And even though I never told anyone, not even my husband, that I had a tiny little hole in my soul, I knew it. And it wasn't until I dug so deep that I saw that little hole that prompted me to do something different, to get out of my comfort zone, outside of my church that I had built, outside of my family that I had worked with and loved. I had to go somewhere else where nobody knew my name and nobody had any expectations of me. I did that because I wanted to create something different. What do you, my listening friend, want to create in your life? What do you want to create? If you are not happy with your circumstance, then it's time to take 100% responsibility. You can find all the questions at whenyouneedafriend.com and go to my 100% responsibility page. The 4 questions are, how did I create it? What are the gifts and lessons? What's going to be different? And how am I going to use this for the good of others? You must answer these questions without shame, blame, fault, duty. It is what it is. No different than 2 + 2 = 4. You wouldn't say, I can't believe it's 4. I can't believe 4 thinks it's 4. No, 2 + 2 = 4. There's no emotion to it. So when you take the emotion out of your thought and you look at your life, take the emotion, you write these 4 questions down, and you realize that everything is created for your benefit, for you to be blessed in a different way. It may come in an ugly package, but if you look at it as a gift and a lesson, it will serve you and support you beyond your wildest dreams. And we're going to continue to talk about our thoughts and what you're creating when we return worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. Okay, so I want to go back. I just received a text saying they want to learn more about the exercise of everybody holding on to each other. So I'm going to share a little bit about that. So the first person, I mean, it was another thing that we did. The first person, when they were thinking these thoughts, tears were just rolling from his eyes, and we all felt what he was feeling. And it's no different than when somebody does a random act of kindness. So I just want to give you an example. When you have experience a random act of kindness, you can observe the person who's giving the gift or doing the act of kindness is feeling really pumped up, very excited. The person who's receiving it is also feeling that love and joy, whatever it is that they're receiving. But here's the thing that they discovered, that the people around them got to experience it as well. Thoughts, it's so important that we block ourselves, that we keep ourselves from negative thoughts. So we talked about thoughts and how they affect our lives. When we go back from the break, we're going to also talk about the thoughts and positive thoughts and negative thoughts, okay? So I know that we're about to go back on, and I hope that this conversation will set you free from some of these thoughts that have been holding you back. Time to dance.
You can text Lillian McDermott or leave her a voicemail at 407-373-5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where we can be heard worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. I am your host, Lillian McDermott. I'm a certified life coach today. I am filling in for my guest that lost her voice. And so as a result, I could have been upset or gone, oh my gosh, let me just do a repeat. Instead, I want to share a very important topic and how important it is to keep our thoughts pure, positive. So if you are right now in a circumstance that you are not liking, I want you to examine what are the thoughts that are in your head. I'd shared a little bit about how many thoughts we have in our head, the recording. When you are recording these thoughts, so what happens? But by the age of 0 to 10, these all are recordings that become your subconscious mind. So as your subconscious mind That's about 95% of what you do is driven by your subconscious mind. So how do you become conscious? Dr. Bruce Lipton says you do something new. That's why love is so wonderful. New love is so wonderful because you're actually doing something different. Maybe you're getting dressed a little bit better. Maybe you're now aware of what the other person is, you want to attract the other person. And so you're going through this ritual. Then it becomes comfortable, then it goes back into your subconscious. That's why it's so important that you keep your love and your romance fresh in your marriage and your certain circumstances. So important, because that 95% that is your subconscious thought needs to be reframed. It's called neuro-linguistic programming. You need to reprogram the program in your head. And so that is why it's so important that if you want to achieve something, there's so many different things that you can do to align yourself with that intention. Many times I've used this jargon, align yourself with intention. I even say it to Brian. I've even sent it to the people that are in my life that are helping me with my show. Align your intention with me. I want you all to align your intention to what it is you want to create. And then the people around you, because if they're thinking negative thoughts, it will affect you. So how do you nip it? You nip it in the thought. You nip it. First it's the thought, then it's the feeling, then it's the action. If you think that you are unlovable, you will act unlovable, and you will find someone that will make you feel unlovable. Isn't that weird that we can do this to ourselves? We are the creators of our life. The creator who created us gave us the power to create what we want. It's called free will. So how do we align these thoughts? What can we do? Who is the voice in your head? Who is that voice that you've recorded that is now playing in your head, calling you horrible names? And are you planting these thoughts in your children's head so that they are listening it in the future? When I told you the story about the thoughts and these people that were all aligned and how we were tested from just the thought of the first person, we were just there to support the person. We were not thinking our own thoughts. We were not supposed to think our own thoughts. I was really good at that. So as we were affected by their thought, think about it. If there's a toxic person in your life, you must either work towards aligning your intention with that person, or you need to walk away from that environment. I'm an advocate, a strong advocate of working always things out with those people around you. But what if the thoughts of somebody else is bringing you down? Then how did you create it? Those are the things. How did you create it? You picked that person, right? Not in blame, shame, fault, or duty. But why did you pick that person? Is it to keep those 70,000 thoughts of 80% of them are negative? So let's talk about these negative thoughts in your head. How many times have you called yourself fat, ugly, stupid? How many times have you said to yourself, you will never amount to much? Why even try? Why even try calling that person? They're just going to reject me. Asking that person on a date, they're just going to say no. Why even try? You've aligned yourself with an intention that will create what you don't want. So here's the thing. Do you focus on what you want, or you focus on what you don't want? Whatever you focus on is what you will get more of. So this I didn't get for the longest time. So if you focus on the disease, we heard Dr. Connealy say last week that if you focus on your disease or your diagnosis, you will get more of your disease and diagnosis. But if you say to yourself, I am well, along with act well, think well, behave well, then that will do more for you than if you say, I have asthma, or I have cancer, I have. No, get rid of it. I am well. So I have a mantra. I want to encourage you to all develop your mantra. I am healthy. I am wealthy. I am wise. I am love. That was a mantra that I heard someone else say, and I said, ooh, that's generic enough that I can do myself. So whenever I have a negative thought, I cannot do something, or I believe I can't do something, I am healthy. I am wise. I am love. I am well. Those are the things you say to you, because your brain does not know the difference between do or don't. It doesn't know the difference between fact and fiction. It does not know the difference. So what are you feeding your brain? What are you causing? And let me tell you something. For those of you who know they'll know I'm saying the truth right now. I don't watch movies of slasher, gasher, crime, murders, all that. Once in a while, I'll watch an action-filled movie with my husband because, if he wants it, I'll comply. But I normally watch comedies, romantic love. I watch things like that because I know that what I put into my life, what I put into my brain will not know the difference between fact or fiction. So I'm not telling you that you can't watch scary movies, or that you're in choice. What do you choose? So when you are choosing what you want, then you need to be very clear. And that thought then will become action. What do you need to do to create what you desire? And you need to do it, because that's where the action takes place. So they talk about the power of attraction. And my husband said this the other day, and I'm going to give him total credit. It's about the action. It's about the action, the attraction. It's about action. It's not just think it, and you will think I want a car. Like I heard the preacher several months ago saying, you don't have to do a thing. All you have to do is think it. And that car will appear in your driveway. Good for you. If you believe that, perfect. But that's very rare. You've got to do something. What do you have to give to achieve? What do you have to do to achieve getting that car in your driveway? You don't have to work hard, maybe. You can work smart. You can visualize what you want and go after it. So not too long ago, one of my daughters called me because they were offered a job. It took them 5 interviews by 5 different people. It was something that it was, if you don't do well, it's going to be, you get a draw at the beginning and then you'll be commission only. And it was in advertising, and it was completely foreign to her, but she was so excited that she got offered the job. So she called me and said, Mommy, what should I do? And I said, well, tell me about what's going on. And she was telling me about this job and how great opportunities. And I said, well, then what's the problem? Well, what if I fail? What if I don't do well, and we just bought a house and my husband's going to be doing commission? What if, this is his salary? And she went all the way down. What could go wrong? And I said, honey, why don't we start something different? Let's talk about what if it goes right. Let's talk about it. What's the worst thing that could happen? So she went down the list. I would learn this and I would learn that. I would get experience. I could figure out, I would learn a new skill. And she went down this path. What's the worst thing that could happen in this scenario? And in this scenario, the worst thing that could happen is that she would have skills, and she would be able to use these skills for her next job and her next job and her next job. We need to be equal opportunity, thought-provoking people. We need to be, or we get to be, about what we want, what she wanted to create. And she took the job after she did that scenario, and she was very successful until she took on her next job, until she decided it didn't support her anymore. And she took on her next job. And all these skills that she's learned along the way are going to help her now as she starts a new journey as a business owner. So let's go down that path and think about what could go right as opposed to what could go wrong. And we're going to continue our conversation about our thought and what we can create in our life when we return worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. Please go to whenyouneedafriend.com and become a subscriber, and we'll be right here waiting for you. So the story that I shared about my daughter, for those of you who are in Jacksonville, she's going to be opening a gym called Burn District Fitness. And it started from a thought. Everything starts from a thought. And so that exercise that she did with me probably will change. Well, I'm sure that she's done a lot of things, not just this, but that caused her to look at things. If you're going to look at what could go wrong, also look at what could go right. And so as she was going down, she thought about this new job that she has. When things didn't support her as a new mother, she decided to do something else and something else and something else. And as a result, her whole life is now building up to this moment. The thoughts in her head created this moment. And if you look at the thoughts in your head as it was a mistake, I can't believe this happened, as opposed to, wow, I learned a lot. I learned a lot from this experience. I know it was horrible, but I learned a lot about this, and I learned a great skill. And so I'm going to talk about next the book by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich is a book that I'm now rereading, relearning about. And it's amazing when you read something and you're in a different frame of mind, how much more it becomes, how special it becomes. Think and Grow Rich. I thought, why would anybody read that book when there's so many other books that are out there written for people that are current? This book was written in 1937, Think and Grow Rich. It is as applicable today as it was back then. It is amazing of how that book has changed the lives of many people who have picked up this book. So I want to encourage you, because I'm reading the book. I'm reading the book for the first time in its entirety, with editors' comments and doing a big research. And that's probably one of the reasons I felt to have this. I wanted to share this with you, because I don't usually get to share about what's going on in my life as much as the guests that I have on the show. Maybe once in a while I do put in some of my personal stories in there, but this is all about my desire today to grow the show to a next level. And if I want to grow the show to a next level, I'm going to need to align my intention with you, my viewers. Please share. Let people know that this is a safe place for you to learn more. And so I hear that we're going back. Here we go.
Lillian McDermott or leave her a voicemail.
There's a show within the show.
5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where we always learn from one another. And today, I wanted to share some of the lessons that I've learned about thinking and the thoughts that we think. And so I want to encourage you as we move forward. If you want to, or not if you want, I would love for you. I want to align my intentions with you. I want my show to grow nationwide. I want these topics. I want us to feel empowered, that to know that the Creator who created us, gave us the power to create our own lives. Yes, maybe some things have happened in your life that you're not happy about. And maybe they're a horrible, horrible gift in an awful looking package. But some of these, no, all of these trials in our lives become our most crowning moment, our most defining moment, where we get to say, if it weren't for that, if it wasn't for that little hole in my soul, I wouldn't have gone out. And my husband and I were talking about this the other night. We were saying all the things that have happened in our life have made our relationship be so much stronger. That if we would have achieved X before Y, perhaps we would have taken our love for granted. And so you can say, man, I wish success would come sooner. But what if success happens exactly when it needs to happen? What if success happens exactly when you align your intention to be successful and you align the people around you to be successful? And if you have somebody that doesn't believe that you can achieve what you want to achieve, let them go. Or you can say, please stay away for a while because I really need people that believe in me. I need people that say you can do it, because this is Henry Ford. And I think it started with Confucius. Confucius said, those who think they can and those who think they can't are both right. What are you manifesting into your life? What you don't want? Because if you focus on what you don't want, you'll get more of what you don't want. Or do you focus on what you want? Because if you focus on what you want and you don't allow that negative stuff that people will say, well, you don't think you can do that. Really? You can't do that. Why should I do this? Because they're not going to reply. Why should I do this? Do it because it's part of your desire. Do it because it's part of your plan. So part of my plan is to take this show to places where have never heard this new truth. So please align yourself with me and become a subscriber at whenyouneedafriend.com. Listen to my sponsors. Look at my sponsors. Go to my sponsorship page. Support them the way they have supported this show. They have aligned their intentions. You will never, ever, ever see a pharmaceutical drug company align their intention with me, that they're on this show. You will never see that, because my registered service mark is you can take a pill or you can take responsibilities. Not that I'm against pills. It's that I'm for everything to do. You can do everything you can to live the life that you want. People that have been given, we've heard it over and over again, people that have been given stage 4, go home, die, diagnosis. Say, and I need a doctor that believes, I need my friends to believe, I want to believe I can make this. And I know that everybody has their time and everybody has their gifts and lessons in life, but we must align our intention. And I'm asking you to align your intentions. Help me share the good news about this show. Tell one person today or 20 people today about this show. Tell them the time, tell them where to go, whenyouneedafriend.com. Please become a subscriber. Check out my sponsors, support them the way they have supported the show. You can call me 407-373-5959 and tell me that you are grateful for the show. Show me that you have aligned your intention with me. Just say, I am aligning my intention with you. I too want to be successful. So I am going to think successful thoughts. And so lately, I've been reading this book by Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill is as applicable. The book Think and Grow Rich is as applicable today as the Bible is. When you read it, it'll make sense to you that he was a new thought producer. He was a disciple or an apprentice of Dale Carnegie, and he interviewed for 20 years millionaires and what they did. What did they do to become rich? But I'm telling you right now, every single one of them believed they could. Not one. And all their failures were necessary to create their success. So if you're sitting with failure right now, brush yourself off and say, wow, I learned how not to do this. This failure. And this is what Napoleon Hill, this is one of his quotes. Every adversity, every failure, and every heartache carries with it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. Oh my gosh, this was written in 1930. What? This is how I've believed my whole life, and I didn't know it, that it was a thought that somebody else had. Every invention starts with a thought, with a dream, with an acknowledgement that there's something else that's out there. What are you creating? What are you visualizing in your life? The first principle for Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich is desire. The second one is faith, but not necessarily faith outside of you. Again, that creator who created you gave you the power to create. It's the faith in yourself that you can do great things. But you must follow it with changing the format, changing those thoughts, those 70,000 thoughts, those 80% negative, 80% thoughts that are negative in your head. How do you reformat? Napoleon Hill says, you read, you declare what you want, right? You write it down and you figure out a way to create it and you read it, your principle in your head every day. Once when you wake up, then when you go to bed at night. Lots of great tips from a man who wrote a book in 1938, still applicable today. He talks about the principle of specialized knowledge, using knowledge, not acquiring it. Education is important, but what do you accomplish with your education if you don't do anything about it? A skill is so important. So if there's something that you want to create that requires for you to become an expert in a particular skill, that's what you need to do to create it. It's not going to happen unless you're willing to do whatever it takes. I often sing the song, I would do anything for love. Yeah, but I won't do that. What is it that you want to achieve? What are you willing to do? Say, I would do anything for this, and I will do it. That's how we need to rewrite that song. That song in your head, that voice in your head that tells you that you, remember that little engine that could? I think I can, I think I can. I knew I could, I knew I could. I know I can. Those thoughts in your head, everything created began with a thought. What are you thinking? What do you want to achieve? All these different principles in your life, what are they? Who are the people that are telling you, I know you can? If you have one of those people that says, I don't think so, that's a stupid idea, walk away. Because fortunately for you, it is none of your business what people think of you. Stay close to your desire. Decide what you want. What do you want to create? Make it happen. Devise a plan. Many of us know what we want. Oh, no. Many of us know what we don't want. Focus on what you want. Forgive yourself for your failures. See them as opportunities to succeed. Because Napoleon Hill says, you will always find greater benefit. Please remember, I'll be right here waiting for you worldwide. Align that intention with me. Align your intention greater than me. And I'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyounneedafriend.com. This is Lillian McDermott wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever. Okay. I hope that you were able to get something out of this show today. I know that I did this show because I needed it. I needed to align my intention with what I want. I want to ask you to share this video with as many people. Help us work together. There is more to do out there than to fear. It's not just about doing, it's about feeling, it's about the thoughts that you have, the feeling that you get from these thoughts, and the awareness that they are not supporting you anymore, or the awareness that this is the exact thought process that you need to have. What are you creating? Share it with me. What do you want to create? How did you create it? How did you become what you wanted to become? It's not just about becoming rich. I have a friend that wanted to have children and was told she had a 1% chance. but she knew she'd have children. And she went and she looked for people that aligned herself, they were like-minded. They told her that she could have a child. And you know what? 3 kids later, I said, you need to come on the show. She didn't do it with artificial means. She did it by making her body healthy. She did it by aligning her intention, what she wanted. And she has 3 beautiful kids. That's just one story. What is your story? My story. If you think you can't, you won't. But if you think you can, you will. What do you choose? And align your thoughts with what you want. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to our next conversation.